Hello, everyone.
Hey, we're back.
Welcome back to the Velleity Studios, all Velleity Studios considered. And I am your host,
Ira
Ira.
Glass.
He doesn't do the whispery thing as much. He
No.
does sort of he's got sort of a nasally voice. But I am a huge fanboy of his, and I would scream like a teenage girl seeing
The Beatles.
well, I was going to say Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber and the Beatles.
Let's pretend our fans aren't our age or older.
Right. And scream and run across the street to meet him because I absolutely adore This American Life. But that's neither here nor there. You know what is here and there?
Velleity Studios.
Velleity Studios, the co-founders, Chris Hoffman.
And Andrew Malin.
And this week we wanted to, we're coming to you from from a new location here. Not new to us, new for the show.
Deep within the bowels and tract of a blue whale.
Bowels. So we're in the office that created where we created a ton of our great ideas, of our mediocre ideas, mostly our mediocre ideas.
Ideas. We'll call them ideas.
Yeah,
yes.
The ideas. And we're excited to give you an update on what's going on with Velleity Studios. We are going to be in sunny Southern California in about Northern California, excuse me. About what? 2 weeks?
About 2 weeks, and it's raining there right now.
Neat.
Yes, so we'll find out
Yeah.
if it's sunny San Jose, California.
Yeah, ruining all of my, preconceptions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we might go to Santa Cruz and run around as the goal.
Yeah.
We might.
Yeah.
I know the Boobach will be there to meet the children and scare them.
Yeah.
You know.
Hand out candy.
Yeah. In his windowless white van.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the Dimitri Martin had this great thing where he says creeps must have been really excited when vans first came out. Being gonna have a windowless room on wheels. Neat. So but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. What we did want to update the book club.
Yes. This weekend, Utah Graphic Novel Book Club is discussing Dangerous Habits, the Hellblazer story by Garth Ennis. So if you've read it, if you want to read it, it's still for sale on discount at Dr. Volt's for the book club for the entire month. And come and talk to us about it. That'll be fantastic. I'll be there. Chelsea Blomfeld is in charge of it, and I'm excited to hear what she thinks of it.
Yeah. So show up. I mean, Hellblazer. How can you go wrong? He's going to be, from what I understand, a frequent guest now on season.
Or series regular now.
Series regular on. What's this going to be the 4th season
of Legends?
Yeah.
Which is we know we're terrible, but it's fun anyway.
It's fun anyway. Yeah. My kids. That's the one they enjoy most out of the DC shows.
It's cartoony and comic booky, kind of like what you'd hope out of a comic book show.
Yeah. So for the spotlight this week, I do this ritual when I'm going to go to a comic book convention, and I go through my collection, which I have in a database because of course I do. And
me too.
Yay, nerd.
Yeah.
So, but then you can go through, what I do is I look at all the guests that are coming in, and I see if anything is from my collection that I can actually get signed. If there's someone that I want to meet, I'll go buy something from their table, because that's the best way to support an artist is to cash on the barrelhead, you know what I mean?
Buy a print, buy a signed comic, even better, commission a piece.
Yeah. If you've got a favorite person, you know what I mean. You never know what's going to happen with people like I always forget his name. The ghoul, the old Frankenstein.
Bernie Wrightson.
Bernie Wrightson. You know, I mean, if he's no longer with us, sadly, and so if you anything you ever wanted from him, that's not an opportunity anymore. So like, make sure that if you have the means, you know what I mean. If not. You can support by other ways. We always love support from like social media. If we've got a current Kickstarter, Edison Bell, it's made it's a collection of 1940s comics that have a cool adventure with Inventor Kid, and then plans on how to make neat maker projects.
Yeah, and it's typically the invention he came up with during the course of the story.
Yeah.
So it lets you share in the adventure with Edison Bell.
Yeah. And there's things like model plane launcher, snow catapult,
Periscope.
It's a lot of fun. So, and guaranteed to get to you. There's no waiting to see until the last day if we make our goal.
We've already made it. So we're just waiting for the Kickstarter to end to ship it to you.
Right. Oh, the tarot cards have been ordered.
Yeah. They should be shipping soon.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm just waiting. And I think last time I said that we paid for the Gull stuff. Gull 2 should be in your hands.
In April.
Yep. We've got Kickstarters coming up for other things. There's going to be some sort of Strangers thing this year because it's the 5-year anniversary of the Salt City Strangers. So we're still working on the details for that, but as soon as we know, you'll know. We've got a really cool idea that we've been working out, and we'll get you through telling you a little bit more about that one as we're doing it.
Yeah.
So no details yet, but that's coming up.
We have the Daring Heroes card game that we showed you a preview of. Just waiting to do the Kickstarter on that one.
Yep. So much stuff. So your wallet's going to be hurting. But so for this week, want to do a spotlight. So back to what I was originally saying. Why are you going off on such a big tangent? I want to keep this on track on the show here.
But I love to be tangential.
One of my favorite hobbies is blaming Andrew for things that I did. But I go through my collection and I look for someone who's going to be at the convention, see if I can get him to sign something from my collection that I actually bought like off the shelf. And Joe Rubenstein, who did a lot of the finishes, and he did the inking on this particular cover here. Beautiful X-Men versus the Avengers. This is a great storyline. They had 2 of them, and did they come out? Did X-Men versus the Fantastic Four come around the same time, or?
X-Men versus the Fantastic. Yeah, it was around the same time.
It's right around the same time.
Yeah.
It's when they started doing.
Because that was post Morlock Massacre. That was the fallout from that.
Okay, so he had these. And correct me if I'm wrong. Like when I looked at this stuff, there were crossovers of the characters, obviously for years and years. You know what I mean? But they started doing these ones where it had like a different title. It was but it was still in continuity. Like we're used to this sort of stuff now, where there's like they put a different title. Maybe it's in a different universe. Maybe it's a different timeline and stuff like that. But they didn't do that sort of stuff.
I think that really started with Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And. The Crisis on Infinite Earth. Those
yeah. So they do these spotlights where they were like, kids like the X-Men and the Avengers, put them both in a book, and then they have to buy all the books that month, because they'll buy the X-Men books and the Avengers ones, and it worked like a charm, obviously, because I've got these. So we were talking a little bit about like the culmination of the Marvel universe that's coming up into the Infinity War, which is coming out. Super excited.
Exciting. It looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got your tickets?
No.
Oh, okay. They went on sale.
That's fine. I
usually go through the store. Huh?
Yeah, usually. We go as a group.
So. From Dr. Volts.
Yes.
drvolts.com. Phone number at the bottom. Give them a call.
Yeah, check it out.
And so these, I was saying, if these guys, this is my pitch, would be something similar to this would be the next thing that they could build towards, because they've been building since Iron Man. They've been building towards this one. Now it's going to be a new cast of characters. Some people are going to die and whatnot, and they're going to move back in. And they've said they have no plans for what they're going to do to bring the X people into the universe, is what they've said.
If that actually goes through, because that hasn't gone through yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, there's a chance that antitrust might get involved.
Oh.
I don't know about now with the current political environment, but they would end up getting a huge market share if they get Fox's movie and having Marvel and Disney and stuff. It might present a monopoly effect. So
gotcha. So if it does happen, and if they have it, this is a good example of a great X-Men Avengers crossover.
Yes. And there are a few examples of not as good ones.
Yes.
But this one is the one to look for.
Yeah. The one I like.
Yeah. I think it's currently available in one of their Epic collections.
Cool. So. Oh, wow. I wonder if Kmart got some cash for that. And my favorite Avenger, Dr. Druid.
Dr. Anthony Druid?
Anthony Druid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the DAD, as they call him, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his son ended up being one of the Secret Warriors.
Wildly popular. And of course...
he's actually a pre-superhero Atlas character.
Oh, yeah, it was one that they
that
purchased.
They brought back. No.
Oh.
He was a mentalist one-off character that they ended up bringing back, making into a superhero in the 70s.
Nice. So the X-Men and the Avengers are generally good pals. So what brought them to the point of being verses to each other here?
Is that the X-Men aren't really superheroes and they're actually bad guys? And Trent, I don't know if you're listening, you know I'm right. And I know you agreed with me that one time. Yeah. That they fight very little crime and really only solve problems that they've caused.
Yeah.
So
they're good at that.
Is that why?
They look cool while they're doing it.
So I want to comment on the art before we continue.
Yeah.
I love Mark Silvestri's art, and I always loved the faces like that, where the people kind of look like thumbs, because he's really good at drawing these great, heroic, statuesque figures, and then that's very obviously a normal person.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the contrast, and you saw a lot of that in his X-Men run. I actually really enjoyed that. The guys with, like, no chin. Steve Dillon used to do stuff like that, too, and I loved that.
Yep. So. Good point. And it actually does have some of my favorite Avengers in here. I mean, I actually like Black Knight, the Dane Whitman, but with the ebony sword and the whole armor on, no leather jacket or anything like that.
I've got a great collection of his adventures with Captain Britain and Camelot. Okay. You know, black and white magazines. They're fantastic.
Is this still the Eric Masters?
I think that's Odin's son.
Odin's son, okay.
Because he's in the heavy armor.
Gotcha.
So he's at the point in his continuity where he can't heal.
Oh, okay.
He's been cursed that he can't heal, and so he has to wear heavy armor and grow a beard to cover his scars.
Right. So the basic premise of this is that Magneto is now in charge of the X-Men, right? In this one. And the other heroes are just like, no, you can't just say all of a sudden you're not a villain and you're just going to be a good guy now. It's like, you committed crimes. You've
murdered a lot of
people. You extortion, destruction of property, probably shoplifting. I mean, you could get down the list on a bunch of stuff.
Crimes against nature in the Savage Land.
Yeah,
he turned all those people into like mutates, like frogmen and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, he's a bad dude.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of people that want a piece of him, including the Soviet Union.
Yeah, for crimes he committed in the Soviet Union.
This is a great. I'm gonna zoom you guys in here a little bit for this panel. Look at that. How cool are those guys? And how like Russian? You know what I mean? Like the fact that he actually has the hammer and sickle there. That just kills me.
Yeah, Vanguard, Dark Star, Ursa Major, and Titanium Man.
The Titanium Man, yeah.
Yeah, and this is I want to say it's like the third or the fourth Titanium Man, who was the Gremlin.
Yeah.
Which was the son of the Gargoyle, who was...
Yeah, he's right here.
Yeah, there he is.
Look at that guy.
And the Gargoyle was the first Hulk villain.
That is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this interesting stuff. Yeah, I love...
oh, God, I love that pair. I had these when I was a late kid, early teen, and I always loved these panels. I mean, it's so dynamic with he's jumping out of the chest of the Titanium Man. It's so great. And then the designs of these characters look great too.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of like the themed heroes, obviously, from where they're from.
Oh yeah, for some reason that really connected with you. Right?
Why? I don't know why. But yeah, I love and it has a lot of the X-Men stuff in here of them like chilling as regular people.
Yeah, it looks like they just finished their baseball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there you got yourself
Wolverine being cool.
Yeah. But basically the Avengers are like trying to get at Magneto, and the X-Men are like, hey, you don't just get to come in here and just take him.
Yeah.
And so it becomes, and then the Russian characters are after him too, and so it becomes this big three-way fight. And so much fun, you know what I mean? Like this was
And Dr. Druid is very effective in these books.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. He's He hypnotizes Darkstar into incapacitating the Soviet super soldiers.
That's awesome.
I mean, like, he pulls a surprising amount of weight for discount Doctor Strange. Because he doesn't actually have magic. He's just like a telepath and yeah, he can affect minds and stuff. He's not actually magic.
And this was before Silvestri worked on Uncanny, right? Or before or after? Don't know. Same time.
This is coming up on his run because I know this is the team that he was.
This was 87.
So he could have been on the book.
Might have been already on the book by then. But
because he did all of their Fall of the Mutants and all the Australian Outback stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I love these pair-offs here where it's like Wolverine versus the Black Knight. You know, like at this point in time it was a fair matchup before Wolverine was a god.
Yeah, and he was unstoppable. Yeah, I remember one of the first X-Men comics I ever bought. Mystique slits his throat and he almost bleeds to death.
Yeah,
like he just wasn't invincible.
Yeah, I remember having the Jim Lee trading cards.
Oh yeah. I had the whole set.
Yeah, and I still have my set.
I don't.
It's sitting on my. I have this shelf of cool things, which one of these days I'll give you guys a tour of. But it it has yeah.
Don't go into his basement. Don't. Yeah.
She-Hulk versus Rogue, perfect.
The Avengers have an axe to grind with Rogue.
Oh yeah.
Because in her first appearance, she fought the Avengers in Avengers Annual 10.
She was
and she stole the powers of Ms. Marvel and incapacitated her.
That's right. That's why she can fly. She held on to them.
Yeah.
Parts of them.
Well, no, she held on to Ms. Marvel for long enough. The power transfer was permanent.
Damn. And
I always like that where Titanium Man tries to take out the Blackbird while he's tied down.
Yeah.
He's like, I missed. Oops.
That's just the screensaver coming on.
Cool.
But at the end of this story, we're just going to tell you about the whole thing because no spoiler alerts because it's been out for 30 years ago. Yeah. But at the end of this, basically, like Magneto's actually having like a change of heart. He's actually thinking, hey, maybe I've been wrong all this time, and maybe this is the right thing to do. But he's on trial. And at the end of he doesn't have the helmet on, and in this one he creates a new helmet that has like mind control.
It gives him telepathic powers.
Yeah, Charles Xavier style.
Yeah.
And and at the trial he's trying to decide whether he should use it on the judges or not, and meddle with the verdict.
Yeah.
And
because he's not going to get a fair trial.
He's not sure.
He doesn't feel he's going to get a fair trial, but you find out that one of the judges does hate him and wants to sentence him to crimes.
Yeah. So he does it. So he knows it's a 3-judge panel. So he knows
a tribunal.
A tribunal, as it were.
Yeah.
And so he knows one of them is against him. He doesn't know how the other 2 are going to vote. And so he sits there and he says, "What?" He makes a decision, and he changes the mind of the one person, and then they give a ruling in his favor. They say, yeah, well, now you're a good guy, I suppose, get out of here. And he's like, he's not sure if what he did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so he's like, maybe they were just going to be that way, but now he's got this shame of like...
He tampered with it anyway.
He tampered with it. He could have had a clean slate, which is what he wanted for becoming a hero, and the first thing that he did was ruin it because of his villainous tendencies.
And if you read on in New Mutants, where he was the headmaster of the school, you find out that, and in his very intent, was evil. Like, his idea was to turn the New Mutants into a new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And team up with the Hellfire Club.
Gotcha. Kind of takes the edge off of this.
Yeah. Well, it was done later. I mean, Claremont had been crafting that story the whole time.
Yeah.
In X-Men and in New Mutants. And then this was done by Roger Stern, I believe. Great writer. I love Roger Stern. But he used to be editor on the X-Men, too, back in the day. During the, I want to say Dark Phoenix saga? But, you glossed over.
Oh, yeah.
Magneto submits to the trial. I think it's at the end of issue 3. Because he wants to prove that all of humanity hates all mutants. And so he uses the helmet on Captain America to know his true intentions. And Captain America's like, no, I don't hate anybody, but I don't like you because you're a bad guy. And so Magneto willingly submits to the trial because he finds out that there is goodness in humanity. I think it's in the... I think it would be in the beginning of 4 then.
Yeah. But
when I first read this, it wasn't in the issues; it was in a collection.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure how they broke it up.
I like that he's catching all of their bullets
and putting it into a giant ball and throws it at them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Wasn't a huge fan of the purple costume or the fuchsia costume.
Yeah, Volts, we call it the magento costume. Yeah, good old magenta. Yeah, right here. He uses it on Cap.
And he's like,
and he teleports the X-Men and Cap with the helmet too.
That's a pretty powerful helmet. It's like, why did you do anything else if you had this helmet?
Yeah.
It's just on his shelf. He's like, well, I guess I'll use this now.
Yeah, it seems like, well, we need to break up this fight. There's some plot convenience. Yeah, there he is. He zaps Cap right there. We've only got
4 issues of this. He is like, I mean, this looked like this is the part where he's like, oh,
I now realize that man and mutant must begin trusting each other if we are to ever achieve peaceful coexistence.
Perhaps I can begin that trust now by surrendering myself to you.
Yeah, powerful moment.
Yeah, good. Look at this frame here. I mean, just
look how defeated and lonely he looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he realizes he was wrong.
Yeah. Well, and
who's better to prove Magneto wrong? But
Captain America and his actual superpower,
which is that he's always the good guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like Superman's real superpower isn't how strong he is, or super weaving, or ventriloquism. I mentioned
which are all his powers,
all his common superpowers from the Silver Age. But it was that all of that power allows him to do the right thing every time.
Yeah.
And so when Superman isn't depicted that way, it feels unnatural. Mm-hmm. So that's why you get a lot of pushback.
Yeah. Yeah. So, X-Men versus the Avengers. If you're interested in these floppies of the trade, give Dr. Volts a call or email off of the website, and I'm sure they can locate it for you.
For sure.
You can't have my copies because
they're not terribly expensive either.
Yeah.
I think we sell them for $2 a piece when we do have them.
Yeah. And you're getting some great art, good piece of history. It feels, in the current political climate, it feels topical. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get this one signed by Mr. Rubenstein, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'm bringing my Batman Judge Dredd crossover hardcover collection because Simon Beasley and Glenn Fabry are going to be there. And they worked on 2 of the stories in there.
Gotcha.
So get that KO.
I thought I would have had a lot, being a comic collector in the 90s, I thought I would have had like 100 Simon Beasley covers. And apparently I don't.
He did a lot of DC in the 90s, like Lobo and stuff.
That's what I thought. I thought I'd have a Lobo thing, and I don't. So I am actually bringing some Dark Horse Terminator comics.
Nice.
And they're badass covers.
Yeah, of course they are. He's a fantastic artist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got into Judge Dredd a lot because of the Stallone movie. I got into the Judge Dredd, but I read a bunch of the comics, and I had trading cards, and I love Judge Dredd. And it was fantastic. And he got his start in Judge Dredd. I think Fabry might have also. But he did Preacher covers.
Okay.
That's a lot of his work is in that. And he drew the Howard the Duck Max series. I mean, he's a great talent.
The one where Howard the Duck wasn't a duck.
He was a mouse.
He was a mouse for 3 issues.
Do you know why he was a mouse? Because Disney sued Marvel because they said he looked too much like Donald Duck. So we made him a mouse out of spite.
Fun.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah.
And then now Disney owns all of it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Moot point.
Yeah. Oh well.
And they're doing a great job with it.
Yeah, so far.
They actually are doing.
Yeah, and we're available for hire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Two guys, we love your work, sitting here promoting it. You know, I'm sitting here pushing like a 30-year-old comic. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they don't care.
No.
Actually, you could read this on their I bet it's on the Unlimited books.
Yeah, probably.
So, but there's a thing to having the book in your hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is something that's the way I still like having the books.
I don't know. Like the next format change will be the thing that changes and determines the future of comic books. I don't know if we found that format yet.
Yeah.
I don't think we're there yet. But when that new technology, that new format rears its head, I think we'll know it when we see it.
For sure.
But
it'll be when a tablet is the price is equivalent to $1.50, so that I can get a one-off tablet that just has one comic in it.
Well, the comic
paper
collecting has become so much a part of the comic book market. Creating this collector's item is essential to the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like that. I mean, they started... One of the first collectible comics was like Howard the Duck #1, going back to Howard the Duck. And if they were selling for $10 and $20 a piece back in the 70s, and it was 25 cents for that book, right? And so Steve Gerber used to joke, the people that bought multiple copies of it and then sold it when they were scarce made more money on the book than he did.
Yeah.
So
nice. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it is, and it'll also be interesting to see what they can do with the medium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're stuck on we're the way we think of stuff is we're stuck with paper and staples, right? So what could you do if the panels could change, or if they could, if you
animate
could see,
in parts, or
or you know, I mean, like I know motion comics are not the answer. We tried that, you know, but like what's going to be the real new thing?
And if it does go to that, it will be different than what we experienced.
Yeah.
Now, I've noticed that kids, they don't seem to need to own stuff the same way our generation does.
Yeah.
And so you might need to wait for the Xers and the, what do you call them? The Z or the Z, Y.
Millennials and then Z.
Millennials and then Z to move on before they before you can do that format change.
For sure.
So
yeah. I'm excited for when the VR gets to the point where I am Magneto in the story. You know what I mean?
Point of view stuff would be a really interesting storytelling mechanic. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you have a murder mystery and you go through the story as the victim first, and then you go through as the, you know what I mean, like a storyline way. It's going to be really interesting. The stuff Lucasfilm's been working on this sort of stuff for a long time, and I don't know about you. If I could just be Batman all the time, that would be what my job would pay for.
So you could be Batman.
Yeah, the electricity and the equipment, so that when I get home, the helmet goes on and I'm Batman.
And your kids are like, Dad, do you want to play Batman with us? I am Batman.
Yeah, you can be Robin. I'm sick of being Robin. Shut up.
Yeah, then you could be Nightwing.
Yeah. You can graduate to Nightwing in a few years.
Yeah, and if you'll be lucky, you could be Jason Todd.
Yeah, there you go. Ooh.
Oh.
Now I'm sad. He came back. It's okay.
He's been back for, I think, longer than he was gone. So.
Yeah. So, cool. I think we've beaten this horse to a fine red mist. Let us know you're listening. Send a comment. Send a like. Send a
share with your friends.
Share with your friends. Let them know we're here on Thursdays.
Yeah.
We got next week. We're gonna do something, and then the week after, I believe
we'll be on the road.
We'll be on the road, so no show that week. But
we might check in.
We'll check in on Facebook, and then I will certainly be covering the show with our audio equipment for the World's Greatest Comic Book Podcast, Hole 322. So listen to that there.
Sounds fantastic.
Anyway, thank you very much. Oh, we might have actually had like the high CPU finally kicked in.
Oh.
That's okay. It might have cut off the ending there. People are sick of this anyway, if they're listening anyhow. If you've gotten through this whole thing, congratulations. You win the Lady Studios No Prize for this week. And
comment so I can issue you a no price.
There you go. Awesome. Okay.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Bye.